Good afternoon, class. We are looking at home page of Canvas for statistics. Let me grab this. So here's the homepage of Canvas, and there were several emails sent to everybody. My name is Dr. Araipur. The first number, you were supposed to watch this recording, which is simply welcoming everybody to the course. The next one is the class philosophy and course objectives. So let's look at the first part quickly.
Class philosophy. This class is a community and therefore, we all have the same objective, to learn. Online students often feel isolated, but it is vitally important to know you are not in this alone. I would like each of you to approach our online class with a great attitude and a willingness to help one another. Many problems and questions can be resolved by asking a fellow student. I am always here to help you, but I truly believe your experience will be more fruitful if you communicate with your fellow students as well. Let us work together to make this a memorable semester for each and every one of us. Course objectives. It is about the use of probability techniques, hypothesis testing, and predictive techniques to facilitate decision-making. Topics include descriptive statistics, probability and sampling distributions, statistical inference, correlation and linear regression, analysis of variance, chi-square and t-tests, and application of technology for statistical analysis, including the interpretation of the relevance of the statistical findings. Applications using data from disciplines including business, social sciences, psychology, life science, health science, and education. Instructor's contact information. Email me via Canvas or use the email address ariapmer@lac.edu, and I reply from Monday to Friday within 24 hours.
Back to the homepage. The next one is about the announcements, and quickly, if I put this in student mode, under the announcements, you see what they have been sent to you. Recorded orientation, welcome and orientation, welcome to a virtual course, 3 of them, and now as far as the recorded orientation, I will have this recording as well, and I'm going to add to that. Going back to the homepage of the Canvas, we see the syllabus, we see modules. Under the modules, practice test, PowerPoints, solution to practice test, homework, practice test solution, as I mentioned, discussion forum, exams, and so forth. So rather than going to any of those, you can go on this, write this here, this link, or the link here under the left navigation bar. Let me change the student view. And so if you click on the syllabus, you see the syllabus and the Excel calendar. Quickly, the Excel calendar has the calendar. In short, what happens here is that in a few weeks, we'll have the first exam. And it has the sections that we need to cover. And so what I want to add is that as long as you're at top of your game and you do your homework in a timely manner, which means a few sections per week or at least one section every other day, you are in good shape. Here's the actual syllabus. The syllabi are really huge nowadays, so I have different topics here. You can go back to a topic of interest. I will quickly refer to each and every one of them. First, we start with the course, the time, student learning outcome, course objective. The text I will show you also when we go to my open math, where we do the digital homework, which for short, I'm going to refer to it as MOM. Then here's the information about the class. And then again, timing of each exam. The first one takes place in a few weeks. And so a week in advance, you will receive an information about the exam, and it expires on the day that it's due at 11:59 p.m., which is normally Saturday. Uh, you can take the exam from the moment you receive the email, or you can wait until the due date. The only thing is, if you, for example, start at 11 o'clock on that day, you have only 59 minutes. You don't want to do that. Then we have other information, calculators and formula sheets. You can use both of them. Any graphing calculator, including TI, is good. You can use formula sheets. We have the tech support for the publisher, for the Canvas, for the distance education, for the campus. PyShop or Math Tutoring Center is available, and I have the website for you. The grading policy, this is probably the most important thing as far as students are concerned. Homework is worth 200 points. Discussion forum participation, 100 points. 4 exams, each one is 100 points, and final, 300 points. Now, as far as the online homework is concerned, when you do that, there is no time limit as far as how many times you do the homework, how long it takes you to do the homework, and how many tries you have. As far as the participation is concerned, there are 5 discussion forums. Each one is worth 20 points, total of 100 points. As I mentioned, the exams are 100 points. The final is 300 points, which is comprehensive. And although comprehensive, all you have to do, study the previous exams and the new module. Then it's a simple case of a point system, 90% or higher, that means 900 points or more is an A. 80% or above, that means 800 points or more is a B, so on and so forth. There is no makeup policy, simply because you have a whole week to take the exam. And if something comes up that for some reason you couldn't do, if you have a proper documentation that is acceptable by the campus, I may give you a makeup exam. In the meantime, the lowest grade before the final may be replaced by the final exam score as long as the final is good. That means 80% or higher. Homework and discussion boards must be good. That means 90% or higher. And this action must result in a higher letter grade. Otherwise, it defeats the purpose. A course late work, there is a possibility of doing some of the assignments later with a late pass with a 10% reduction on a normal basis. Students who rely on that, they have a hard time catching up. So not a good idea. We don't have late pass for the first assignments, that is the mandatory assignment to open math or algebra review or the discussion forum and things like that. Something that I find interesting is called CSULV 36, study 36. In short, you need 3 times the number of unit hours per week to be successful. This is a 4-unit course, so we need 12 hours per week. This is the dropping policy. In short, if anybody misses the orientation, not start with the publisher, doesn't do the first assignments, or misses the first exams, will be dropped. Then we have more information, useful information such as OSS and financial aid and so on and so forth. So there are more information here that you can use. And here's the office hours, which is also posted at the bottom of the home page of the Canvas. Netiquette, in short, it's just like any other class. We expect everybody to show utmost respect for one another. So be courteous and act like a professional, and make sure to use a correct spelling and grammar. This is college. And of course, as always, a positive tone. That's really the idea behind that. We also have a syllabus addendum here. So that's the synopsis of the syllabus. As always, you can go back with more details. Then after that, the module has almost everything we need. And again, at the bottom of the page, you can see the, information about the office hours. So, and by the way, the exam, they have practice test that is already posted, and during the office hours, you're more than welcome to stop by for a Q&A. So I want to show you first the discussion forum, then I go to modules that covers just about everything there. So what do you find under the discussion forum? Number one, student bios. I put mine as a sample. You're more than welcome to read everybody's, put yours. And if you'd like to answer a fellow student, please do so. That's perfect, but with utmost respect and always encouraging a voice. The next one is a frequently asked question. In the past, students had some questions. I made up this FAQ, a frequently asked question. So if you have a question, please consult with this before you send an email. For example, do I need a course ID to register for my open math? And the answer is no. And then campus tech support is here, publisher support here, access the expired homework. How do I do that? How do I check the grade? And how do I look at the review of an assignment? Everything is explained here. Finally, where to find the exam passport. This will be sent to you 1 week in advance, and it can be found under the announcements. Right now, you don't have access to it, but when the time comes, you'll see that with, for example, the first one that with the topic of exam 1. So that has all the information you need as far as the password and the information is concerned. Now, I'm going to go back to the discussion forum. Then after that, we have modules 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 modules, 5 discussion forums. Each one is worth 20 points. So this one, for example, okay, and this repeats for throughout all of them. So let's say
DB, Module 1 Practice Test Number 1 Topics. Post your math questions from Chapters 1, 2 and 3. You are required to post, at least, one question and its solution either from Practice Test Number 1 posted under the modules, or any source of your choice, per grading policy in the syllabus. You must read all the posts and make sure not to duplicate any questions. Similar questions are acceptable. Read all the posts, questions and solutions posted by others first, and pick a different question to post. No duplication is allowed. A question with one-word solution, one-line solution, or definition is not acceptable and results in 0 points for the post. 10 points. Write the question number and copy down the question. Show all steps using the math equation editor or embed an image solution as explained below. Find a similar problem online, or on YouTube or Khan Academy and post the link. 5 points. Comment on, explain, at least one classmate question that is either solved or is found online and posted by watching it carefully in its entirety. Explain about what the question addressed and what you learned from it and outline a few steps you learned as a result. A compliment is nice but is not a comment. 5 points. Example of a student post, made up example. 1. Question 15. Find the mean, median, mode, and range for the following population list. 13.
So again, I put an example here so you can see the question is written. Then I have a formula and detailed solution. I finish the job. Then a similar question on the YouTube is here. And finally, I have a comment. So I'm explaining something about what I learned. Therefore, the comment is just not, thank you so much for this or that. That's not a comment I'm looking for. This is the one that is graded and results in 20 points. And the same thing for the next 4 modules. Okay, so each module is worth 20 points. Going back to the home page, The thing I want to cover is the modules. What do you find under the modules? First, we find my open math. Then we find the lectures and the video lectures. Then exam 1 module, exam 2, exam 3, exam 4 module, and module 5 is part of the final and the formulas and so forth. So I'm going to go to the top and show you what we find. Number 1, this is the information you need to register with My Open Math. So you go to this website, you use this course ID, and you use this enrollment key to register. When you do that, it brings you here. So I'm going to go back to that in a moment to see how this thing are done. So going back to the modules, after that, we have this PowerPoint's lecture section by section and so forth. If I click on that, we have the practice test. These are prior practice test, instruction on taking exam in My Open Math, and then YouTube statistic lecture section by section. First, I want to show you this one. These are my lectures, section by section. So it's available to you. This one is the latest recordings we have. And we have the practice test for module 1, which covers chapters 1, 2, 3, and then we move on. We move on to the rest of it, okay, all the way to chapter 12, okay? So the point being, we have the PowerPoints for section by section lectures, and we have it for practice tests. Going back to the modules. Now the next one is exam 1 module. So what do we get this right here? I start with the practice test. The purpose of this is for you to take a few minutes to read this, either download it to your computer or print it. So you see what's coming up. After that, you have chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. These are my PowerPoints. So if I click on one of them, for example, chapter 1, you see various sections. Okay, 1.1, 1.2. So if you click on one of them, you have the PowerPoints. If you download this and you put it in slide mode, you don't see the whole page, especially when you get to the example. For example, this one, example 1, you just see the example, not the solution. And then when you arrow down, it gives you the next step and the next step and the next step. So it's good to download it and put it in this one. So exam 1 module, we have the practice test, we have different chapters here, and at the end of that module 1, what do you find? Solution. This was the practice test, everybody. And this is the step-by-step solution. Please do this practice test on a daily basis. That means you want to do 1 or 2 questions per day. And then the week of the exam, you want to consult the solution, making sure you have it right. Okay? Going back to the modules. What I want to show you is when you go down, at the bottom you have resources such as elementary statistics. These are the formulas, these are the tables, and this is the information about the calculator. So if you click on this, you find the formulas, because you can use a formula sheet for the exam. So these are the formulas, because some of the formulas are pretty long, so it is available to the students. The next one is tables. We have many tables in statistics. I have them here. You can find them online or you can find them here. Here's the z-score. I've also called the z-table. It's the same thing. I have the t-table. I have the chi-square. You name it. All of them are here. And the last one is the information about the TI calculator. So I have different commands, okay, that you need for the course. On the first page, I also have the information that you may be able to use to download an emulator. If it works, it will look something like this. Again, I don't promise that it works because it's not mine, but you can give it a shot. Going back to the modules, we covered everything. I'm going to go back to home page. And now, of course, if we've registered with my OpenMath, this is my OpenMath. So what do we notice there? First, we have mandatory assignment called Introduction to My OpenMath. This just shows you how to work with this digital platform, namely my OpenMath. I'm going to refer to it as MOM from now on. Here's the algebra review. Statistics students should know certain amount of algebra, otherwise they get behind. So you want to make sure that you know enough. And that's why I have the algebra review here. Then the exams. For now, you don't have to worry about it, but if you expand it, it shows the exams and the information, which will be sent to you when the time comes. Then, if you go down, of course, we have the description, then we have the calendar. You can change the number of weeks. Notice the first assignment is due in a couple of days. The next one is on Friday, the algebra review. All of this homework are due before the exam. Does it mean that I have to wait until then to do the homework? No, if you do, you are behind. On a daily basis, you want to do one of these, or at least you do 3 sections per week, minimum. Then we have module 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Modules 1 through 5 are similar to modules 1 to 5 in Canvas, except over here you do the assignments. So what is module 0? Module 0, as the name indicates, is just resources. For example, here's your text. And if you click on View Online, you can bring up the text. It is more of a reference book, okay? Because my lectures and my PowerPoints, they pretty much cover everything. But if you need more, it's here. As you go down, information about late pass, gradebook, reviewing your assignments is here. My resources are here. Multimedia library is here. Now look at this one. We have a lot of free online calculators. For example, this one is specifically for statistics. Okay, I'm going to close it because of the advertisements. Okay, but please check these calculators and get familiar with at least one of them, so you don't have to pay for any calculators. As we go down, more information. Okay, instructor resources, more videos, p-value calculators. Later on, we look at the concept known as hypothesis testing, and you know what's a p-value, and maybe this p-value calculator comes handy. Again, more calculators, more resources, online stat calculator, daily scheduler, so on and so forth. So we have under module 0, nothing that has to be done. It's just a bunch of resources. Under module 1, and this is where your work begins, you see the 3 chapters. If you recall, we had 3 chapters I showed you in Canvas. So if you click on the first one and then open up first section 1.1, it says first watch these videos. These are the red ones. Again, if you have looked at the PowerPoint, my recordings, maybe you don't have to. But if you haven't, these are just right on the money. And then instructor's video, recommended videos, and this is where you do the homework, okay? So I highly recommend that you watch those and then do the homework. When you're done with this, section 1.2, again, watch these videos, or you have already watched my PowerPoints and recordings, and do the homework. This is where you find your homework, everybody. I want to go back to the top and show you what happens, for example, if you are doing the homework. Because as far as the homework is concerned, for example, this one, which is due in a couple of days, if it's done before the due date, even if it's not done immediately, you start and you make, do a couple of questions and come back, that's fine, okay? So for example, here it says, enter this number, okay? This is introductory assignment. So I'm going to enter 66.3752. The next one says enter this number, rounded to the nearest hundreds. This is 7, so we get 66.3. 7 either remains or changes to 8. The reason it changes to 8 because next to 7 is 5. Now this says divide by 0. You know that we can't divide by 0, we get undefined. So if I click on the box, it doesn't have undefined, it has DNE, does not exist. Now, if I submit the question, everybody, okay, it check marks and it makes a note of my grades. If I go to this one and it says, when entering a decimal number, enter 4 or more decimals. Let me enter this wrong on purpose. 1/3 is 0.3 bar, but let's say 0.5. Okay. And I said submit questions. So what happens is wrong. What do I do? Do I move on? No. I get a similar question. It so happened to give me the same number. And so I put the right answer, bunch of threes. Okay. And I say submit question and it check marks. I got my point. Nothing is deducted because of this, get a similar questions. So as you go down, you do the same thing. And some of this stuff, especially when you do the homework, in algebra review or per sections, some of them also have videos class to help you, okay? Some of them have videos. So let's say something comes up, you're doing this homework, you can't finish it. If you click done, notice it gives me my points here, and then the other ones are unattempted. I can come back and resume. I'm going to exit for now, but anytime I come back, I have my points there. If it's after the due date, then that would be my final grade. Otherwise, that's not my final grade for that assignments. So a quick recap. Here's the homepage of Canvas. First, a welcoming message. Then the philosophy. You can find the announcements, reading the syllabus, modules. Here's the office hours that you can find here or under the syllabus. So I want to quickly tell you what you find under the modules. You can find the information about MOM, so you can register for it. You can find the information about my PowerPoints, recordings, and practice test and my YouTube channel. For now, you're just concerned with only exam 1 module. It starts with a practice test. Then it gives you the chapter, sections, PowerPoints, 1, 2, 3, and then the solution to this practice test. And for now, you're concerned with the first one. And when you go to my open math, first you do your assignment for introduction to my open math, then your algebra review. You don't have to worry about the exams. If you expand it, it gives you the exams here. You don't have to worry about it yet. And then module 0, a lot of resources. Module 1 is where your work begins with section 1.1. And if you watch these videos, if you haven't done anything else, if you watch these videos in red, and please report any broken link, and then you can start with your homework. So it's a pretty simple class. I wish you all best of luck and happy studying, everybody.